The second thing we were talking about before was your thing around finding people that you want to, and
Yes.
you kind of love working with. Talk to us about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think in FM, because of the larger FM providers, often people go through sort of a pretty vanilla route in terms of how they get into different jobs, and they go to a certain company for a certain time, then go somewhere else. I always want to find people that excite me and they're passionate like I am, and I can enjoy working with them beyond just the day to day of what we're doing. And those relationships become a bit more personal because actually we're in this together and we're trying to change the world. And often I think that's about hiring people that potentially wouldn't traditionally get into some of the standard jobs that are out there in FM, and helping them grow and watching them flourish. And I think that's a really important thing for me. We all have to go to work and we all work incredibly hard. If you can find people that you love spending time with and get that into their job as well, then I find that a really, really positive thing.
And isn't that, though, you've got two challenges there, haven't you? You've got the challenge from how do you get those people to apply in the first place when the job description doesn't look perhaps like anything they could do, and then when you're interviewing them, how do you get the person who's interviewing them to see beyond that, or to see enough of them to see that spark and that,
Yeah. How do you get them to apply? You need to go and find them. So going back to the networking piece, these may be great people you meet in networking or you see on social media. It's also, look, men have no problem applying for jobs that they're no good for. Us men are particularly good at that. I think with women, it can be more of a challenge because often, with the women that I've worked with in mentoring, they're really considerate around what the job description says and whether they're good enough for it. It's about making jobs accessible, but also it's about not making the process feel too much like a process. Some of the best people I hired, I took out for a burger at lunchtime, and they'd accepted a job by the afternoon. It wasn't that sort of formal process, and that really worked well for me. And then also, I think interviewing, I always just had a gut feeling with people. It was always, if I really liked somebody, then I would make sure that they found a position within Pareto and within business. And actually, yes, I got it wrong sometimes because we all do, but some of the ones I got right have changed my life forever. And there's some relationships that I'll keep for the rest of my life. So I think for me, you need to make sure your recruitment process isn't too restrictive and in terms of blocking that sort of thing. And I think that's why small businesses are brilliant for that, because they have much shorter recruitment windows. There's nothing wrong with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stage processes, but you may not get the absolute talent that's available today if you go down that process. And I'm sure from like a cultural perspective, that's all brilliant. But actually, for me, if there was a fire in my belly and I love that person, I was like, yes, let's go and do this together. And that worked well.
But I don't want to deviate too much onto recruitment because I could talk about this, but isn't it frustrating that so many job interview processes are about putting absolute fear into the person, so they're terrified? You get this kind of rabbit in the headlights. I can't say anything wrong, and that's not what you want. I mean, make them feel relaxed. I love your take them out for a burger. Get the best of the person. That's what you want to see. You want to create that environment, don't you?
I don't think I ever had a formal sit-down suit and tie interview in my 10 years of Pareto. It just wasn't what Pareto is about. And you don't get the best. I prefer to meet someone over dinner or on a night out or at a networking event where I'm just like, I love the cut of your jib, as they would say. I love it. And let's see if we can work together. And maybe now's not the time, but maybe in the future when I've got a role that would fit really well. And that worked really well. And Pareto still has some incredible people based off of that fact.
Yeah. But your points 1 and 2 obviously completely linked to each other. And if you think about networking is about connection, isn't it?
Yes.
Working with people is about connection. So you've got
to
do things that feed that connection so you can see it in the first place, haven't you? Love that.